Welcome to the first Mailbag Monday of the year. Starting off, as I always do, with the opening of the beer. This is Rocky Mountain Strong from Fort Garry Brewing in Winnipeg. There aren't any tasting notes or anything on the can, so I didn't know what to expect. They're only calling it pure, bold taste and a strong beer. That's quite malty for such a transparent beer. Anyway, first item in is one that came anonymously to my P.O. box. There's a few of those going to be like that today. I don't know if I've got more and more people starting to send me stuff or what, but oh, okay, package in a package. Right. These are 50/50 size LEDs. They look like they should be an RGB LED, but I don't think they are. Pretty sure I've seen these before, and I think these are wedge mount style automotive LEDs. These are intended to be used as dashboard indicators or something like that in a car. And let's get some power onto it here. There we go. So these look to my eye like warm white. To the best of my eye's capability, those look like warm white anyway. I think the ones that I previously had might have been cool white or possibly red. I'll have to go digging for them. Regardless, these things at 12 volts draw 24 milliamps. If I just tame down the exposure, it looks like they are running 3 LED chips in there rather than using RGB. They're using the same structure and just putting 3 warm white chips in there. Appreciate that, whoever it was that sent them in. I'm going to see if I can find a listing for something similar to this. No guarantees, but well, they should be able to be found, I think. Yeah, here's a search term that finds them in the automotive section of eBay. And it finds various different similar ones. These ones look exactly like the ones that I've got here. And then there's other batches of them that are available for, you know, various different amounts of money too. It looks like they come in different colors as well. All right, next thing in says it is blades, and this is one that I did order. I think it is exactly what it says, if they're not lying to me. Oh, thank you. You're welcome. Yeah, it's just basic utility knife blades. Nothing too fancy about these. It's just that they have become really, really expensive at my local stores, and I don't use them often enough to warrant spending like $15 for 5 of them. So I figured I'd just try this way. There's no markings on them saying what kind of metal it is or anything like that. But yeah, they're just normal old utility knife blades. Really handy to have around the shop. 15 pieces utility knife blades, razor blades, box cutter blades with dispenser. I paid $8.18 Canadian or $6.20 American with free shipping. Not a bad deal, especially since they actually sent 20, not 15. They claim that these are high carbon steel, so nothing fancy, not stainless or anything like that. Just basic consumables for the shop. All right, let's see what the next surprise is. This is another one that came unexpectedly to my P.O. box. So thanks to whoever is sending this stuff. What do we got here? Oh, a variety of things. Oh, cool. And this one says 1.8 volts on the package. Looks like regulators or something. AMS 1117 1.8 volt regulators. That's exactly what they are. Basic little linear regulators, very handy to have around. What else have we got here? That one says 1.2 volts and that one says 3.3 volts. And I'm assuming those are all the same part, just different voltage ratings. Yeah, that's exactly what they are. Surface mount 3-terminal regulators in a variety of voltages. Thank you once again. These are always useful things to have around. Once again, I'll just link you to a search that finds these things. And as always, I will sort my searches price plus shipping lowest first, because that's how I always search for this stuff too. Anyway, this is just one of the listings chosen randomly, the 3.3 volt one. They are a 1 amp voltage regulator. $1.35 will get you 10 of them any day of the week. All right, next thing in is another thing that I ordered. It just says switch on it, so that could be any number of potential switches, I suppose. But it is an assortment. This is 5 different of the Cherry MX style switches. They're not Cherry branded. And each one apparently has a slightly different characteristic to it. Yeah. The blue one and the either green or brown one have a physical click to them when you push them down. And these 3 seem to have a different pressure weight on, or push down weight on them. So in the world of mechanical keyboards, there's a bunch of different types of keys that you can get, the actual physical button, and they are easily replaceable. In a mailbag a while back, I got sockets that these things plug into that you can put onto a circuit board, so they just plug in and out to replace them. Very, very easy. And mechanical keyboard aficionados all have their own preferred version. Some people even like to have different weights of keys in different positions on their keyboard. It's another one of those topics that the more you look into it, the deeper the rabbit hole goes, and the more jealously people guard their preferences as the only way to do things. But I decided to get a variety of these from an eBay, I assume seller, just to try them out. Now, I don't have a full mechanical keyboard, but what I do have is a little macro keyboard that uses these things that I use for editing videos. I did a video on it a couple months back. I'll put a link to it up there if I remember. So I'm thinking that I might want to, just for tactile feedback, put different switches in it, or put some that are a little bit heavier push on the more dangerous commands, like the delete command, for instance, and maybe the one that makes an audible click, like that one, in I don't know, the play pause or the save or something like that. I don't know. It's just something to play with and experiment. And these were relatively cheap, I think. Oh, maybe not the cheapest switches in the world, but still relatively cheap. The black one is $1.69, blue one $1.67, the coffee colored one $1.63, green $2.15, red. Did I get a red one? I don't think I got a red one. Why didn't I get a red one? $1.67, and the silver one was $1.80, the cheapest of them all. When you can see the various different types that you can get. Some of the ones I got have a black bezel on them. Some of them have a clear. I don't know whether that's important to their function or if that's just aesthetic or not. But the color of the plunger indicates the model type, for lack of a better word. And that tends to be what the mechanical keyboard people use to refer to them. So here's a website that just gives a quick listing of the various different characteristics of these switches, and a bit of a flowchart as to how to choose the optimum one for your application. And the last and largest one in, because that's just how I do things, this is another one that was a donation to the channel from an anonymous person. It calls itself Auto Parts, but as we've seen in the past, that could be pretty much anything. Whatever it is, it's lots of things. What they are is 3 bags of automotive panel clips, 3 different styles. So for those who don't play with automotive stuff, and I don't do a lot of that anymore, but occasionally, you know, it's something that you need to do. These go through a trim panel on the car, just through a hole in it, and then into a hole in the metalwork behind it. And then when you push the piece in, it spreads out those prongs, and it holds tight inside the metal frame of the car and keeps the those interior soft panels, the decorative stuff, in place. Now this type looks like it should be unscrewable, but I don't think it is. Those don't look like screw threads on the inside. These other ones are designed so you can get a flat blade screwdriver under them and pop them back up again. just like that. And those ones you can actually get away with popping out a few times usually. Got two different sizes of them here. These ones, they take up less space, they're smaller, but normally you just end up popping them out and destroying them and replacing them, which is why they sell them in bags of 50, because that's just what tends to happen. Now then, as I said, I don't do a lot of automotive stuff anymore, but when you're installing a car stereo or replacing some of the newer cars, you have to actually pull trim pieces out to replace light bulbs. So I guess they can come in handy. I'll have to see which ones fit my Toyota, and maybe I'll offer some of these to my brother, because his boys both do stuff in the garage as well now and again. So yeah, these will definitely come in handy. Thank you to whoever donated them to the channel. And as usual, since I don't know exactly where these came from, I will give you a link down below to this search, which finds a wide variety of them. Several of the ones from this variety pack look like some of the ones that this guy is selling, because each brand of car uses a slightly different one, and probably several different ones within the same vehicle. It's not a bad idea to have an assortment around if you're doing this kind of stuff. And there is the Contents and Taste Mailbag Monday haul. Quite the wide variety and several donations. Thank you to whoever it was that's donating these things. I do appreciate it. Quite, as I said, quite the variety. A couple of automotive things. These panel clips that we just took a look at, and these dashboard LEDs. Those could come in handy in the car, but more likely they'll come in handy as indicators in the front panel of some project in the future. These voltage regulators that were donated as well, those are always a handy thing to have around, especially the 3.3 volt. A lot of our microcontroller projects use 3.3 volt power, so that's always useful to have. And then of course there's these knife blades that I got for utility knives. Consumables, you always go through stuff, right? It's good to have them on hand in the shop. And then there's these switches that I got just to experiment with and learn a little bit more about the wild and strange world of mechanical keyboards. Like I said, I don't want to get too deep into the weeds in that, but I think I might already have just by looking at these different types of switches. Anyway, those are going to be experiments in my macro keypad that I use for editing. And yeah, I guess that's everything for today. Thanks for watching. Thanks for the donations. Thanks also and always to my YouTube channel members and my Patreon supporters who help keep the mailbags rolling in, help keep the beer fridge full. And thanks as always to viewers like you for showing up. Questions and comments down below. I'll talk to you later.